We are back for another episode of your favorite podcast. The title is not wrong. I Destiny 2 almost killed me again. So I couldn't think of a better way to spend my 8:30 p.m. Wednesday night. So let's just get into it. So Destiny 2 almost killed me. And you might be thinking, oh, is that why you've been slacking off on the podcast since you're a liar and say this is going to be a daily podcast? No. Kind of, but no. You know, I had jobs, I had work, I had, and I'm still working on the script, which we're going to talk about later. But yeah, I just like I haven't played in the last couple of days just because it's just like, so let me start from the beginning with Destiny 2. Okay. So I played Destiny. I played a little game called Destiny, right? I was working retail. I was, I was in need of some friends, of course, because while you're working retail, you might, like you got work friends, but they're just work friends, right? But then, you're looking for a little bit of something else, right? So I bought Destiny, fell in love with the game, met a bunch of people, and we played through Destiny 2. But it was one of the best video game experiences I've ever had. Destiny 2, same thing. It was like getting back into everything like again, There were some flaws for sure. There was a few flaws. Absolutely. But for the most part, it was one of the most phenomenal games. Probably one of the best games that I've played. Just because it's like the gun mechanics are so fulfilling, like when you make precision shots and the kill counter the damage counter, it's fucking awesome. I love that shit so much. But it felt like the game has so much to offer, yet follows through with none of it, And I know this is probably like old news, and, Charlie, Moist Critical, Penguenzo talked about this, and along with Mudahar, Some Ordinary Gamers. And I know like a few other gaming channels probably talked about this as well. And they're all pretty fairly correct. But for some reason, in my heart, I know that there's so much more that the game can offer. Like, I know if they focused on things like the dungeon or because I'm not a PvP guy. So I never really been one for like hitting up the Crucible or even Gambit, which is just which is a drag. I played it once a few years ago, and I never played it again. And I played it again like just this last week when I got heavy back into it. So, and it was the same experience. It's kind of funny. So when I played Destiny 2, there was a sense of like, I mean, it's one part fulfilling, cathartic. I don't know if that's the right word, but there's something about Destiny 2 that was just so fucking awesome. And it was like my only game that I played for almost a year straight, I think. Yeah, it was like for a year. And those games were just so fucking phenomenal. Destiny 2 was so phenomenal. I'll get into the expansions in a minute. Holy Christ. But Destiny 2 was an amazing experience. The raids were not only challenging, but they were like a fucking journey, you know? And this was during the time where I would have maybe a couple of my friends play, and then we would autofill it, or not autofill it, but fill it with like Destiny 2 app people, you know, who were looking for raid peeps. And we would hop on a raid, and we would have a fucking blast. We made new friends and shit like that. I made new friends. It was crazy. It was such a magical journey for Destiny. And then the expansions came out. And I got to tell you, at first I disagreed with a lot of people, specifically YouTubers, who said that, you know, the DLCs for Destiny 2 were just, you know, they were just as good as like a battle pass from fucking Call of Duty. And I thought that was an unfair take. You know what I mean? Like especially with the new maps and whatnot, and there's just not much more content for Destiny to offer, or maybe they just lacked in vision. I don't know. But with these expansions, it felt like Destiny kind of like moved backwards in a way with its content, you know? And so I want to split this into two parts, because I don't want to mix it up with the story. So I just want to talk about I'll talk about the story separately, and then I want to talk about the like the gameplay and you know, everything, you know, between all the expansions and whatnot. So between all the expansions, it was just not really much to offer other than just having something there that was like, all right, spend $20 or $30, however much, and then you got a mini campaign, right? And then, yeah, that's about it, until I think like Witch Queen maybe. But I didn't play Witch Queen. That was like the one expansion that I was just like, yep, I'm good. I hopped on Beyond Light, which was like, I think a couple of years ago, for just like a month. Like I don't even think I put in more than 100 hours into that. But it wasn't until recently, in the last like few weeks that I played, that I was like, okay, I got. So the last few weeks have been really fucking weird, because like I enjoyed Destiny. I was like, oh dude, I'm so back. Haven't played Destiny in like 2 years, I don't think, since then. So I was like, oh my God, this feels great. This is awesome. The combat is still the same pretty much. But there's like, you know, different things with your loadout and your gear, and even your subclasses too, which like the subclasses are like divided into different like powers, I guess, or different elements, which is like one's void and then arc and then solar. So yeah, I'm realizing this is like such a nerdy ass fucking talk, but I mean, listen, this is my podcast, and whatever I say goes, baby. So, and we're only gonna. I divided this shit up with chapters. So if you guys are not into the gaming talk, I'm sorry. You could skip ahead. But I wanted to explain that the expansions, I mean, for better or for worse, in terms of like the gameplay and the mechanics and all that, overall it was fine. It was fine. You know, I don't know what else to say other than that. So I just figured, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to play this little bit. And then hopefully, you know, after a while I'll be sick of it. And pretty quickly I was. It wasn't until like a couple days in when I found out that there is an event happening. And I have a bone to pick with this fucking event. So every season, or I guess every month, I guess, or every other month, I don't know. But there's a new event that happens in the span of like, yeah, I think like a month or 2 months, some shit like that. And you can participate in this event. You get like armor shit. You can get new weapons, and there's like specific game modes too. This game mode that happened, it was kind of cool. It was sort of like a horde mode, kind of like vibe with the mode. It's called what was it called? Burning of the something. It was like Awakening or some shit like that. Basically, it's like the whole goal is to obtain rekindled armor, and you need a specific material in order to upgrade it and all that shit. So getting into it was great, right? Because then I started putting the pieces together. I'm like, oh shit, I can get cool ass armor. Okay, I'm in. Let's do this. And then I do, and I not only regret it, but I knew it was a bad idea. I wish I never did it, because again, it almost fucking killed me, because I've spent almost 7 or 8 hours a night playing this fucking game. I'd start like around 1, 2 in the morning, right? Or like midnight. Usually around midnight. Sometimes before if my friends are playing. And one friend actually got me back into it because he asked me. He was like, "Do you play Destiny?" I'm like, "Do I play Destiny? Boy, I haven't heard that name in so long." And so I fucking dusted off my physical media disc. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I fucking busted out a CD, dude. It was crazy. It was like going back in time. It was awesome. And I honestly, nothing a better feeling than popping in a disc into a console. It's like it's a boomer mentality. It's a boomer memory for sure, but there's something special to it for me. Okay. So popping in the game every day was phenomenal, but I spent too much. Time. I got probably an average of 2 to 3 hours of sleep, maybe, which I average like 5, maybe 6. But like, again, it's just like, it's like sometimes I have work in the morning, and then it would be like 6 a.m. And I'm like, oh, I have work in 2 hours. Well, I guess I might as well just finish these bounties, get some coffee, and go to work. Whatever. It's whatever. It was, I want to say it's worth it, but it really isn't. You know what I mean? Because here's the thing. I thought I had more time with the event because it said August 9th, which is today, right? Or am I wrong? Yes, today. It's Wednesday, August 9th, ladies and gentlemen. And these fuckers at Bungie, they're like, hey, the event started like a couple months, but it doesn't end until August 9th, so you're good. And I'm like, oh, shit, okay. Because around the 8th, I'm like, all right, I should free up some time, and I'll be good, right? On the 8th, who cares? Like, that's great. I can finish all my shit right up until the 9th, It'll be skin of my teeth, but I'll get my full armor rekindled fucking set, right? Wrong. Fucking ended it. I don't even know when, but they for sure ended it yesterday, right before my happy ass hopped on the fucking Xbox. And then, yeah, it's gone. There's an update with the game, and then I updated it. I'm like, well, that's weird. Why would there be an update? Whatever. Must be a patch. Who cares? Load up the game. Event gone. It's ended. It's gone. Bye-bye. It's gone, folks. It left the building. And I was incandescent with rage. And that's why, because I put in all this fucking time, and I'm a horribly slow player, unfortunately. I'm not good at FPS games. I'm not phenomenal, but I love them. I love Bungie games since Halo Combat Evolved is probably one of my prized video games, and sort of the reason why I loved storytelling in the first place. I thought I wanted to be like a video game like writer, and I realized that it's not really, I mean, well, it is a thing, but nowadays, but like, back then that was not a thing. And, I kind of more grew towards movies anyways, but I thought to myself, Destiny 2 is one of the best fucking games. And I quickly fell into that trap, that grinding trap, where it's for sure an addiction. It's 100% addiction, and it's not great. It's not a good time. Because when you're in it, you don't know it. And when I was working retail at the time, I didn't know it. And also, I didn't care. I was like, fuck it. Like, I have nothing else. I come home after work. It's a bad day at work. I can just fucking take my anger out on some Vex and some Fallen and shit. Pop some heads and watch the, spiralies come out of the neck and shit like that. It's crazy. It's like a ghost, It's awesome. The game is rad. It's so fulfilling. When you kill shit in that game, it's great. I don't know what else to tell you. But it's... So a part of the reason why I get into this grind mindset and I don't fully realize why is because there's so much to do, right? At the time. Now, I played the game and I'm like, all right, well, at least I can get this armor set. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to grind it out and I'm going to fucking get into it. And then these fuckers at Bungie was like, actually, it ended yesterday. What? Yeah. Sorry. Sucks to suck, idiot. We ended it yesterday. So I never got the armor set. So I'm mad. And yeah. I mean, that's basically it. I definitely thought I had more time with the game. And then so I thought, okay, well, it's not that bad, right? I just can play other game modes. Then I played Gambit. And then I was even more mad. Because Gambit is literally it's a player versus player, but it's PV because it's like a game. It's like a mini game within a game. It's hard to explain, but basically you got to get points and then you got to outpoint the other team and then you win the shit essentially. And you have to kill a bunch of things, in those rounds and get to, I think like an orb or whatever. I don't know, but it's because I just, every time I'm in the game, there's so much going on that I just end up just killing shit either way. I just wait for whoever's playing it because the thing is that like, I'm not good at competitive gaming. I'm not good at PvP at all. I do love Halo, but it's and Halo Infinite is just it's good when it wants to be good, and then it just wants to fucking kill you when it wants to be horrible. And most of the time, it is. It's the same fucking game modes, same 2-3 maps. It's unbelievable. Now they have more game modes. I know, but it's not the same. So, Destiny, yeah, it is what it is with Destiny. I think I got to the point, especially with the armor set afterwards. I think it was probably a good thing now that I think about it. I'm still going to name the podcast episode. It'll still almost kill me, but because it almost did. But it was still a good thing that the event ended. Because if I grinded anymore, I was losing a lot of sleep, and I was like I was chugging coffee like I fucking like my life depended on it, and it did. And I couldn't be more sluggish and more like brain foggy than just having 2 hours of sleep a night because you need to grind out to get this stupid armor set. Jesus Christ. I'm no better than those Fortnite kids. I'm no better than the Roblox kids who are just like, I don't know if they do microtransactions, but I mean, I got caught up in it, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? buying all the fucking expansions and shit. Ugh. It was brutal. It was definitely brutal. And I hope Destiny gets better. That's all I can say about Destiny. I hope it gets better. I know the final shape is coming. I mean, okay, so let's get into the story actually. Now that I remembered. And I'm going to make this quick because I got to tell you something. I don't understand the story. I don't know if I really give a shit. The story kind of goes all over the fucking place. It's not consistent at all, like by any stretch of the imagination. And I skipped Witch Queen because I got sick of the nothingness of Destiny and the emptiness of the story and whatnot. There's really not much to gleam off of, and the trailer didn't look great. And then when I heard other people playing it, especially friends, they were like, don't waste your time. I'm like, oh, ditto. Cool. Just gonna fucking, say no more, fam. Just gonna fucking move on my way. So, yeah. And then coming back to Lightfall, which I thought was going to be a better experience. And this campaign, it was better than Forsaken. I'll say that. It was better than Forsaken. I mean, was it though? No. I take that back. No. This was pretty bad. I think this was like almost Dying Light. Pretty bad. Because I didn't think about the story much until right now. Because I was just coming off the fucking Destiny trip that I was on for the last few weeks. And then I'm just like, going through withdrawals and shit. I don't know. The story was just like, it was not anything that I could really fucking take at all. And nothing against the fucking developers. Although you guys are killing me with this shit. I honestly just want a new base game at this point. I know I said it before. I know I talked about this before, but again, it bears repeating. Okay. This needs a new base game. Please. Stop with this fucking, ambiguous, weird, super nuanced, by the way, story that even the mechanics of the game, like between all the aspects of like the subclasses, although they are cool, it's a lot to learn. And you also have like weapon mods, and then you have armor mods, and then if you pair certain armor and certain kinds of weapons, you get like bonuses and stuff like that. I love how deep it goes, but it goes too deep. It goes too deep. But also there needed to be a refurbishment on the fucking subclasses. They were getting boring. I will admit that. They were getting boring with the subclasses. So adding the aspects was great. It's just, again, it made everything so dense that I'm just like, I don't know if the casual player would enjoy this game, although I do recommend it. Just make sure you have control over it, because don't be like me and just fucking invest hours into it only to get burned out, and you just don't want to. The thought of loading up the game again is just like giving you a headache. It's giving you migraine, And at that point, I was like, yeah, all right, it's time to stop. So I'm glad it ended the way it ended. I'm glad the event just completely fucked me over, but it is what it is. It's probably for the best, because the addiction was coming in hot, and I did not need that shit. No, sir, no, ma'am. Okay, so moving on. So, Destiny 2, yada, yada, right? Okay. Now, what I also wanted to talk about was a couple movies that I watched. Now, I was debating whether or not I should just split these movie watches between different things, but I I think I'm gonna put these two movies in one podcast episode because again, it's my show and um there's really not much to talk about with one other than a couple of things. So the first movie that I saw, okay, is Beyond Thunderdome, which is the third film of the Mad Max series. The last film Mel Gibson was in. And Tina Turner's in it. I thought she was fine. You know, I thought it was a goofy time, and I enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed it. I know it's like notoriously bad for a lot of people for some reason, and I don't understand why. I do know there are a lot of parts in it that I'm just like, holy shit, this is just too much, you know. And for some reason, like I've always heard Thunderdome referenced in so many things. I thought that I don't know if I should say it. Yeah, well, it's too late. I thought Thunderdome would be a little more exciting. I didn't know it was going to be some trapeze, like Cirque du Soleil shit with Thunderdome. Because, okay. So, watching the movie, I thought, like, you know, because they made the reference to Thunderdome, right? So, Tina Turner is like the head honcho of this town, Bartertown, right? And she, she just runs things. And then there's this event that happens by anybody who challenges another person to a fight, and they dish it out inside the Thunderdome. And you're like, when I was a kid, I thought like the Thunderdome was like something crazy, because I remembered it might have been my mom. Now that I think about it, I think my mom didn't want me to watch the movie because it was too violent, I think she said, which I'm pretty sure it's PG-13. Or maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was just rated R. Maybe it was rated R. But I was watching crazy ass movies then anyways. I was watching Goodfellas, I was watching fucking horror films at that point. Like I watched Paranormal Activity, you know, when I was way too fucking young. The Shining, way too fucking young. Dude, I saw old lady boob. That was fucking traumatizing. You kidding me? Well, actually, that wasn't as traumatizing as the fucking twins. Any hallway corner that I turn, again, I know I brought this up, but it still bears repeating. I have to stay on the outside wall, so every corner that I turn, I can see it preemptively, so I don't get scared. Which I don't know how that helps. I don't think it does. But it's definitely a paranoia that I have. Shut up. Leave me alone. It's a thing. So, sorry. That was a little hot. My bad. Whoops. My bad. Yeah, so I'm just so excited, you guys. I miss talking to all of you. You know, just speaking to a microphone and shit like that. I've been looking forward to this all week. It hasn't been a week. It's been like 4 days. Maybe 5. Who's counting? So, Thunderdome, yeah. I thought Thunderdome, going back to Thunderdome. So, I thought it would be a lot more exciting. Like, the fact that it was like a dome and they introduced weapons like on the top and stuff like that. I'm like, are these motherfuckers going to crawl? They're going to climb this shit to get weapons? That's fucking metal. And then they just started like tying bungee cords to them when they both entered, you know, and it was a whole thing of like 2 men enter, 1 man leave. And I'm like, okay, so this is going to be like a fucking cage match, but like dome style. I thought the wrestling scene in Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man film, was way more exciting than this shit. I mean, it was fun. I'll say that. I'd love to do bungee shit. That sounds like it was a good time because, like, fucking Mel Gibson was just like doing twirlies around the around the Thunderdome, you know, hitting the the big guy. Forgot his name. Master Blaster, which could have been a better name for one of the big baddies of the of the film. But yeah, I thought overall the film was fine. Aside from the trapeze Cirque du Soleil shit that happens in the Thunderdome. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. Now plie and 1 and 2 and twirl. It was just like, I mean, it's cute. It's cute. I liked it. Yeah, but I thought it was going to be way more fucking metal and shit, And it wasn't. But it was still fine. It was still a good time. I enjoyed it. So fuck it, All right. So the next movie that I watched, the next movie I watched is The Bad Batch. And it's written and directed by Anna Lily Amirpour. And I love this director. She directed one of my favorite horror films, A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. It fucking slaps. If you like a good vampire story, this is probably the best one. One of the best ones. Next to Lost Boys and shit. It's fucking awesome. Soundtrack is dope. Everything about it is just super rad. I love that movie. So I thought going into The Bad Batch, I was like, okay, let's fucking go. It's going to be post-apocalyptic shit. Fucking metal. And it was like the production design was really good. The use of trash and the use of the dustiness of it all, it was really cool. I really digged it. And the outfits were crazy. The story is it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. There was definitely a few parts where I felt like it was like it didn't really connect for me, but the idea of a place where you are sent to, in a post-apocalyptic world is an interesting one. I do like that premise. Well, I guess not premise, but it's just setting, I guess, backdrop. And having it tattooed like behind the ear and whatnot. I think more so, I wanted to take the film a lot more seriously because seeing Jason Momoa and Jim Carrey in the same... Yeah, you heard me right. Jason Momoa, Aquaman, and fucking Ace Ventura, dude, was in a scene together. And they said no words. It's silly. It's silly. But I think there's a bit of a charm with it, I guess. It's just the only thing that bothered me was cannibalism. And so the through line, I guess if it hasn't showed already, both movies that I watch are post-apocalyptic. And I did it as, more research for the script, because I'm starting a new draft with the same shit that I want to say, just with few tweaks that are pretty, I would say, substantial, but they're tweaks nonetheless, And I thought just going back through it one more time might be a good thing. And I'm doing a visual storyboard with it, which is cool. I think I'll talk about that in another pod episode with the virtual storyboard, because I have a few ideas I'm still bouncing around with. But yeah, I know that The Bad Batch did capture the dread of a post-apocalyptic world pretty well, I'll say. You know, I think it did a pretty fucking great job, you know. But that's Anna's uh uh directing style, you know. It's very like there's so many like spacious shots and they're super pretty. Almost like Alejandro Inarritu, but he does like subjects super close while the shit is like you see the expansive like, set or I guess world like in The Revenant, you know. Subjects are always close to the camera, but everything feels spacious behind it, you know, which is cool. I do like that, but well, not but. What am I saying? Anna, I gotta stop. Adam, pick a name. God, Anna. I'm sorry, but I had a hard time connecting with this story, despite the fact that like the shots were so great. You know, I do like it, and I love the production design. Whoever did it, I forgot their name. I'm sorry, but it is rad. It was really good. It was really good. It kind of reminded me of like War of the Worlds, but just with more trash. So like War of the Worlds meets like Wall-E, I guess, but way more brutal. It's just the thing that disconnected me the most is the cannibalist shit, which was my thing when this was episodes. I talked about this, but I'm going to talk about it again. The Road is a Cormac McCarthy novel, which I still have yet to read. And I kept telling myself I need to read it, but it's just the movie. It's so fucking depressing, and they have use of cannibalism, or at least like implications that cannibalism is a constant. And I got to tell you something. I'm sick of it. The whole cannibalistic shit is just, it's so... I understand that, like, in a post-apocalyptic world, it's the easiest you can buy, right? Because it's like, oh, you have no food, barely any water. What are you supposed to do? Which I understand, but I don't know. It just felt like whenever you introduce cannibalism, it feels over gratuitous, I guess, Well, I don't even know if that's the right word. I'm not good with the words today, you guys. Jesus Christ. But it felt too much. It was overwhelming, with the emotions and everything, especially with The Road, because Road has a story with the relationship between a father and a son. And that is just like a fucking heartbreaking story by the third act. And the whole cannibalistic shit in the middle of it was just so fucking grueling. It was grueling. And I guess in a good way, because it captured the dread of the post-apocalyptic world. So it did its job. I can't complain about doing its job, but man, I don't feel great watching it. It's the same feeling I walked away with watching like something like Clockwork Orange. I'm just like, I think I need to like take a long cold shower. Just think about everything. God, please. But regardless, that's why like watching these films, I really it always feels weird to talk about, because so many people always want to say that like, oh, well, I want to make a movie that I have never seen before, but I truly have never seen a post-apocalyptic film that didn't end in like utter dreadfulness, which I guess like World's End is one of those, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty of international films that I've not seen before, and I won't know what, and somebody, I don't know, just fucking calls me out on that shit. But like, I haven't seen a post-apocalyptic film that does take itself seriously, but there is like hopefulness. There's something to gleam off of that isn't so fucking depressing for its characters. There's like a fulfilling payoff, a pretty a pretty long, well, not long, but it's a rich journey for sure. With the script that I'm making or writing, and I want to make. There's you get that post-apocalyptic element for sure, but it's more so about family. And yeah, I that's kind of something I wanted to have for a while since I was in retail. Since I was in retail. So yeah, 10 years in the making, and then voila, here we are. And I and watching Bad Batch, like I do appreciate the film because it took its chances. And I feel like a lot of films nowadays really don't take as many chances as they should, because I mean, it's fucking studios. What can you do? You know, you can't argue the studios if the studio is like, can we not? Can we just make it more fucking, let's not make the conflict so conflicty. We gotta get all, we have to adjust and hit all of our taste clusters. Quote from fucking Barry. God. It's just like that phrase, taste clusters, just make my like spine curl. I hate it. God, I hate it. But it nailed it. It nailed it perfectly of what these people do all the time. And it's annoying, because there are like executives that do that kind of shit, And hopefully that shit will change, because we are still heavy in the strike, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. We are, I think, fastly approaching day 100 for the writer strike. Yeah, I think so. And if not, probably more. And even then, like that's still a lot. It's a lot of days. It's a lot of days to be on strike. SAG-AFTRA, it's been, I'm pretty sure, over a month at this point. It has to be. Yeah, it's still going in strong, and people are not only it's hot out there, but I can only imagine the fucking the struggle. So anybody out there striking, I mean, hats off to you for sticking out there and trying to make better things happen, especially in your own union. It's mad respect, and something that we all can learn, to hold steady and hold for your fellow union members, get them the pay they deserve. Not the pay they need, but the pay they deserve. So shout out to the strikes. And yeah, I mean, I don't have anything more. I don't think. We're hitting about 45. Okay. So yeah, that's been it, ladies and gentlemen. I gotta stop saying that I'm gonna do this daily. I do want to make that a goal, though. I say that every fucking episode. Jesus Christ, Adam. But yeah, it's gonna be a goal. We're not gonna get there yet. It's gonna be over time. Once I have more time, more people listen to this fucking thing and subscribe. Please subscribe. If not, at least tell a friend about it, If you don't want to subscribe, I get it. But if you could just, shout it out to a friend or some shit, I don't know. I'm also thinking about clips and stuff, which will probably be easier with the chapters going on with the video. So who knows? Podcasts can go anywhere, folks. This is just the beginning, Just the beginning. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that's about it. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.